Hey, everybody! Welcome back, True Believers. We're having my first. Well, I've done it in a while. I haven't done it in a while. We're doing a book review. I got them out of the bags and boards, y'all. I'm living dangerously. We're reviewing
Oh,
John Byrne's Man of Steel from 1986. Oh, of course, they're all in mid shape, mid condition, so I don't think it matters.
I read them digitally.
And Bruce read it digitally. Also, a little funny thing about this book. Here it says, look, it came every 2 weeks. You see on the back of this one, this was the this is one of the first. This is both issue number one. It's one of the first books I ever remember to have an actual variant cover. It's from 1986, and I like on the back. It's like once every 2 weeks, on sale July, on sale in August and September. And so it was a summer event type thing. At least
almost like it's Superman.
But this was I don't know about you. I remember this very clearly when I was a kid. I picked it up, and it was like how I learned about Superman's lore. You know what I mean? I'm not old enough to have read Action Comics #1 when it came out. Nor are you two.
Well, if you did, you look pretty good for your goddamn age.
Yeah, or I'm a vampire, or maybe I'm a Highlander.
Yeah.
Can only be one.
Yeah, there can only be one. We have to wait for the quickening. Well, okay, I was going to play a video, but we're not going to play a video. Where it's I'll probably get. I'm not monetized, but still, we're gonna. But anyway, we're reviewing. Like I said, I'm already screwed up. John Byrne's Man of Steel. Here, let me see if I can. Here's the overview of all the covers. That doesn't show the variant cover, but you just saw it. And then here's John Byrne himself back in. I assume this is back in the 80s when he still had red hair instead of gray hair. I thought I would do him a little better, show him there instead of too old. I got some pictures here. Like this is like I guess one of the black and white,
that's like a scan of original art.
Yeah.
After it's inked and all that.
And I got a couple of pages I got here, and I'm going to read just a little bit from the. I'll share the Wikipedia page real quick, and we won't go. I won't waste too much time on it. Anyway, here we go. Get it to work. Here we go. Yay! It's probably going to be easy to do.
Now, I was saying it's kind of weird reading a book that's 40 plus years old again, and realizing the story still up.
Yeah. It says right here that the DC editors wanted to make changes to the character of Superman, including making him the sole survivor of his home planet Krypton. And Byrne's story was written to show these changes and to present Superman's origin. The series includes the embryonic Kal-El rocketing away from the destructive Krypton and his birth upon landing in Kansas when he emerged from the artificial womb. I just want to get into a little background. The character was created, of course, by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. The originally intended for the character to star in a daily newspaper comic strip. In the next few decades, Superman's story was expanded to include new characters' storylines. After Siegel and Shuster left, new writers and artists added their own ideas to the Superman mythos. In 1945, Superman's adventures as a boy in Smallville were introduced in More Fun Comics 101 with the concept of a character called Superboy. Okay, I want to get into this. Okay, in the years before Crisis on Infinite Earths that led to the entire reboot of the DC Universe, editors Marv Wolfman, one of the DC editor Marv Wolfman, had been wanting to do a revision of Superman. Nothing was ever developed until then publisher and president Jeanette Kahn asked for revision proposals from various writers. While regular Superman writer Cary Bates wanted the revision to still keep the then ongoing continuity as it was, Wolfman and the other writers, such as Frank Miller and Steve Gerber, wanted to restart the continuity from scratch. Wolfman, Miller, and Gerber all wanted to do the same thing, get rid of Clark Kent's career as Superboy, cut down Superman's powers, make changes to Lex Luthor's character. They wanted to make Superman the only survivor of Krypton, avoiding all the other Kryptonian characters if necessary, regardless of wanting the same things. However, the way each writer wanted to approach the revision was different. After time had passed, with no revision being granted the green light, executive editor Dick Giordano found out John Byrne was no longer under contract with Marvel Comics in May of 1985. He and Byrne began talking about what Byrne would do with Superman if offered the job. With DC agreeing with 99% of the revision, Byrne was given the go-ahead for what became the Man of Steel. Byrne's original pitch was to mold Superman through a story arc over 6 or 8 issues, which would bring Superman to the point where he wanted to be. But because DC insisted on a reboot, Byrne used that approach instead. Okay, so we're already seeing they agreed with that. I guess like maybe they didn't. You think maybe they didn't like what Miller and Wolfman were talking about, so like they kind of held back. And then, oh well, Byrne's coming on. Let's see.
Well, you got to think at the time, Wolfman's Teen Titan was pretty adult and pretty mature storytelling.
Yeah.
And you know, Frank Miller's Frank Miller.
Well, he was working on Dark Knight Returns at the time anyway.
Yeah.
So,
you know, I don't think they wanted a dark, gritty Superman.
Right.
You know, they wanted to keep to that core inspiration, hope, and
Boy Scout Superman.
Yeah.
And also it's saying here that like it was designed to reboot Superman mythos using the history-altering effects of Crisis on Infinite Earths as an explanation. The Man of Steel is the dividing point between the previous canon of Silver Age and the Modern Age. The two different versions are referred to in the story soon after by fans as pre-crisis and post-crisis. Pre-crisis on Infinite Earths being the major dividing line across the DC universe as a whole. The pre-crisis stories were drawn to a close in Alan Moore's Superman, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. And that, keep that in mind because that was the last issue of the Volume 1 Superman, was the one that Alan Moore wrote, which was called Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, which is that's a good reading itself. I really recommend that too. Okay, I don't think we have to do any of this because we're going to kind of chronicle all this.
I see they changed something in the comic because of the Challenger explosion.
Yeah.
I never know that.
It was probably
the part where they rescued they probably didn't save the shuttle in the comic, but we're kind of getting into that. But
yeah, they changed it to an experimental plane instead of a shuttle, and so it said, "Oh, interesting."
Yeah, bad timing.
Okay. Well, that's just an overview, and you see some of the artwork. Like I love this one. This is obviously when they blast him into space in the little incubator, and it comes down to Earth.
Yep.
I think that's when his dad shows him, "This is son. This is how you got here." And here's they were taking Lex Luthor. He's not completely bald. He's kind of losing his hair at this point.
He's a
so
ginger.
You think maybe Bruce they were like the young Lex Luthor before he became the Lex Luthor that Superman has to fight all the time?
Yeah, it's I totally forgot about this Lex. Because you're used to Lex and Superman being close in age.
Yeah.
You know, this Lex, as you could tell, he's probably like 10 to 20 years older than Superman. And he's he's a sex pest.
Yeah. He's trying to think for Lois Lane. He just won't stop. I mean, today he would be sued for harassment. I mean, he was a stalker, basically. I mean,
yeah, he would have been in jail if it was today.
And we also have in issue 3 is the first meeting of Batman and Kal-El.
Yeah.
And which is interesting because I've heard some people criticize this because they said, all right, well, first off, we get like this one, basically this is just like an origin story. Issue 1 is just like an origin story of how, he realizes he needs to go away. And okay, at the end of it, he does he actually saves the shuttle or the spacecraft in his street clothes. You see, there he is in his street clothes. And so they're like, well, we don't know your name. What's your name? And Lois Lane, of course, Lois Lane happens to be on the plane because she's always in the middle of everything, right?
She's always in.
But also, at the end of this story, is it this one or the next? No, in the next issue, which has got Lois Lane on the cover here, he kind of goes in there and scoops her out of her own story because he already knows the story because he is Superman, which I mean was kind of dirty if you think about it. Yeah. And then so Lois Lane don't like him at all, starting out, right? If you notice, she's like, this guy stole my story. So he kind of just went in and got a job based on the story he created as Superman.
It's not like he didn't want to. I don't know, and like some of the television and iterations.
Another interesting thing.
He's wanting to be a journalist. Here, he just walked into it.
Also, she crashes her car into the river and almost drowns on purpose to get Superman to save her.
Just to see. Yep.
So we already see this passive aggressive side of Lois Lane from the rip.
Playing them lady
that's
games.
Classic Lois Lane Superman, though. Really, I mean,
did she throw her stuff off Niagara Falls
in the movie?
Yeah.
No, but she crashed her car off a bridge in this one. I like how they got her very 80s garb, but I mean,
one thing I will say is Ma and Pa Kent are literally ripped from the pages and put in the new Superman movie. I mean, from this story, because I was like, whoa, they're so close to each other. It's pretty cool that he chose to go with this Ma and Pa Kent.
I think that's an interesting point right there because, I was reading it too. And I was like, you know what? I think that James Gunn took more out of this than Zack Snyder did. I think the only thing Zack Snyder really took out of this was the Man of Steel title.
Yeah.
But in this issue 3 was one of my favorite ones. I don't know what you guys feel about it, but the one where he meets Batman for the first time.
Yeah.
And he gets to see like how the other half lives, like out in the hood over in Gotham City.
The vigilante.
And so like it opens up and Batman's beating the hell out of this guy. And he's threatening him, he's like, I'm going to, where is he at? Or where's she at? And he's looking for this character Magpie, who's on the cover right there, who I always thought was one of the most weird, quirky characters that was ever in the Batman rogues. Yeah. But anyway, Superman shows up and he's like, he's always flattered to be recognized, outlaw. Now you just hold on tight on that rope, and I wouldn't want you to fall before you get to police headquarters. So he's trying to arrest Batman. And I heard somebody online. I watched the review of this, and they're like, "That's stupid. Batman wouldn't threaten everybody." Batman. What I like about Batman, he's like, "Stop, hold it." He says, "Before you touch me, you'd better take a quick look with those vision powers I hear you have, specifically your infrared red vision." He says, and he goes, "Oh, you've done your homework." He goes. Then he says something about I have a bomb on my person, or I have a force field on me. Yeah. And if you touch me, somebody's got a bomb on them. I'm gonna blow somebody up. But I'm like, well, see, whoever reviewed that didn't read the whole story, because as when I'm reading, I already know Batman hasn't done that. He's calling Superman's bluff because he knows how Superman works already. He's already figured Superman out.
Yeah, he wasn't gonna kill him, but he had the bomb on himself.
Yeah.
So nobody was in danger except for Batman.
Yeah. And so the bad guy, the henchman runs back to Magpie And it's got one of the funniest scenes where she sticks a piece of dynamite in his mouth, and the other henchman says, "Oh no, not happy birthday," and he's going to blow his ass up, and she does blow him up, and but she's going to gas everybody or something. So, but Superman, it's always good to have Superman on your side. There's kind of a reference to the cover, so they kind of use the cover on the inside. But anyway, it's kind of an interesting meeting for Batman and Superman at the first of it, and they kind of come to an agreement, right? They kind of come to an understanding, right?
Yeah.
So
you stay in your city, I'll stay in my city.
Right, this is my playground. You play in yours. Gotham is my turf. We have to do things different here because we have a different class of scum around here, basically. Worse class. I mean, probably worse. So
that Magpie, she's a head case.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because this was my first exposure to Magpie as a villain.
Yeah. Yeah, Magpie's a little crazy. Actually, all his villains are crazy.
Yeah, they're all lunatics, basically. I mean, you got one guy that takes orders from a ventriloquist dummy. For God's sake, got a guy dressed like a clown. You got one guy that decides his crimes or who he's going to kill by flipping a quarter. So, now the next one's interesting because I don't know how much time has passed, but when we open up in issue 4, which has Lex Luthor on the cover with Superman, he's picking up Lois for this dinner on Lex's yacht. I like the way he draws Wonder Woman. I mean, Lois Lane, by the way. Very nice picture. Anyway,
she's dressing up
John
for
Byrne does all the writing and art. So she still doesn't like Clark. She's like, look, she goes in there and starts hitting the weights. She's like, these weights are awful light for you, aren't they? And he kind of has this thought like, oh shit. Maybe I went too far on trying to be mortal and she's going to figure me out. And also, I like how he goes in there and shaves. He says, I could set about the rather elaborate procedure to have to go through to shave my super tough beard. Using a piece of curved reflective metal from the rocket that Ma and Pa Kent found me in, I direct a slender beam of my heat vision so that it bounces back with pinpoint accuracy. That's how he shaves.
That was a funny little part.
Yeah, that was kind of funny.
When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, that's how he manscapes."
Does he have to do that like down there too?
But everybody knows. Everybody knows when you shave every once in a while, you do what? You cut yourself. So what? Be careful there, Superman.
Yeah. Well, I guess his skin would be tougher, right? Because he's Superman.
Yeah. I also want to tell you that is the first appearance of Magpie in comics.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Okay.
It is?
Okay. Yep, that's the first appearance of Magpie.
I'm the proud owner of a key trade paperback.
We find out that that Lex has been pursuing Lois Lane for quite some time. We kind of got a hint at it, I think, in issue 2. But so he's the one that bought her this fancy pink dress she's got on. But she shows up with Clark on this big yacht, this big fancy yacht. And here's Lex. He's kind of a pudgy, half-balding businessman, billionaire. And he tries to go right for a kiss, and she's like, she's like, yes, well, you know how it is, Lex. I had other things occupying my time. So he's been pursuing her for a while because he wants another. I think he wants something he can't have. Well, then I thought it was kind of funny. She gets in a tiff with him because she says, "You bought this dress? How dare you buy it? I thought you just lent it to me." And kind of goes off on him, but then these terrorists show up. Well, then we, of course, Lois Lane helps, they push Clark Kent off the deck. Yeah. But then you find out that Lex Luthor basically set this whole thing up to happen to test Superman's powers, try to recruit Superman to work for him. But it backfires on Lex Also, I like the part where he like rips that guy's gun to shreds. He's like, "Yeah, that ain't gonna work on me."
Just bends it all apart.
And then he goes, "Here, this is you. You were much more than that, Superman. You've earned every penny of this." He's like, "I don't take money, right?" So then the mayor happens to be at this party, and he tells him, "You mean you put us all in danger just so you could test Superman and recruit him?" And Lex doesn't think anything's going to happen to him, but he tells Superman, "Take his ass to jail."
Yeah.
So this begins their rivalry. And then at the end of it, Lex shows up and says, "I have a message for you." He says, "Remember, Superman, you're a dead man. It's just a question of how soon." And we leave on that note. Now, what's interesting is when we get into issue 5, has 5 years passed? Or 8 years?
Yeah. 5 to 8, something like that.
And that's the part where Lex.
And if we get a hint, go ahead.
That's the part where Lex makes Tang or whatever.
Yeah. And if you see on issue 5 on the cover, you see the white fist. So we get a hint that maybe Bizarro's getting ready to show up. It's interesting. Actually, this is in pretty good shape for this copy. But anyway.
Yeah.
I like the opening page. The mirror, it says Superman, the mirror cracked.
Yeah.
You're getting sloppy, Luthor, and you see the appearance of Lex Luthor's battle armor with nobody in it.
Yep.
What do you guys think of this issue?
I thought there was someone in the suit that it was experimental, so they die after a certain amount of time in the suit.
Yeah,
I thought when I read it, I thought it was, is this like the introduction of Bizarro? Because I don't know when he comes into Superman's timeline. You know what I mean?
Oh, he's introduced way back.
Well, this is the real.
Because this is
origin.
This isn't Bizarro, right?
Yeah, this is Bizarro. Yeah.
It is Bizarro.
It's a reintroduction of the character that came out in the way in I guess the Silver Age was Bruce.
Or Golden Age. I forgot when.
Yeah.
Because I didn't see you. Maybe I missed it. I didn't see anywhere in here where they refer to him as Bizarro.
They don't. But I mean, you know, well, he gets this guy. It's just a clone at first, and then the clone just starts denigrating, and he's like, "Well, let's destroy this thing." But I guess you don't realize, you know, like what it is he can't. The guy tells him, the scientist, he says, "This is just as I feared, Mr. Luthor. My biomaterial was created to perfectly duplicate any known form of life." But this is where they find out Superman's an alien. This is where Luthor finds out he's not human.
Yeah.
He says, but the Superman is an unknown form of life. The Matrix is rejecting the alien DNA replication. The body is crystallizing. So what it is like the flesh and everything is crystallizing. That's where you get like Bizarro, and of course Lex is not too happy about that. We also get the introduction of Lois Lane's sister, who's been blinded.
Yeah,
and she's kind of I don't know if I guess can we use the word suicidal, because she's suicidal. Anyway, she's not telling Lois that. She sets out to jump off a bridge. She doesn't tell Lois that. Look here, there's an ad for laser tag. Anyway, so she's sitting on a ledge, and she thinks Superman saves her, but it was actually Bizarro, but she can't see, so she don't know. Also, another interesting thing in this story, if you ask me, was the fact that when Bizarro starts dressing like Clark Kent, tries to show up at the Daily Planet.
Great Scott.
Great Scott.
Well, they get into a fight, obviously, but when he starts deteriorating, right? Is how I take it. I think he starts deteriorating.
Yeah, he starts looking.
Also, he's got like a mole cut from like Three Stooges.
He's like zombie Superman.
Yeah. So Superman starts pounding on him, and with his bad bowl cut, Bizarro. But then he
we can't skip
disintegrates into
over
all these particles, right? And somehow, when Superman touches the girl, she gets her sight back.
Yeah, I don't get that.
I didn't get that part.
She's like, Lois or Lucy, I can see. Lois, I can see.
Yeah, that was weird. The dust particles.
Well, I don't know, but that was they left it on that, so they didn't really explain why. He said he tried to explain how. Let's see. Let me go back and I'll read the part where he says something about. Well, I guess
I overheard what Lucy said earlier about her vision being partially restored after contact with that creature. I think that must have been caused by exposure to some of the dust from its body. Somehow it counteracted the chemicals that originally caused her blindness. Shattering the thing's unliving body, because Superman doesn't kill, created enough of the dust to cure her. I guess that's how they resolve that.
Okay, well, kind of lazy writing, but okay.
I'll forgive it because the art throughout all this is fantastic.
Oh, yeah, it is. And then we get into the last issue, which is not, you might be thinking, oh, it's going to be action-packed.
I mean, look at that.
Story.
You know how hard it is to draw that perspective? That's a pain in the ass.
Yeah, that's impressive, too. But you know what I like what's in here, too? This is before Wonder Woman #1 came out by George Perez, and mine's got a little insert in it.
Oh, nice.
Oh,
previewing the new Wonder Woman series coming out. Look at that.
Oh, wow.
So that's kind of interesting. Stunning wraparound cover, it says, coming November 6th, 1986.
I like that they do that, put little previews of series that were in the comics. They should do that more.
I think they should do it now. They don't do it a lot. And this one's called Haunting, because he's flying home to Smallville to see Mom, Pa Kent, and the family. And so he flies in. And what I want to know is, Martha and John know that they don't have to pick him up at the train station, right, or the bus station. But they go through the motions anyway to keep up appearances. He could have just flew to their house. But I thought it was kind of funny. They go and pick him up anyway, and Pa Kent's like keeping something from him because something's been happening, and he's like, "Well, I don't want to worry Clark,"
Yeah. But
you see, there's kind of a ghostly figure. You see here, this is the first time that we find out Superman. He thinks he's hallucinating.
Yeah.
But he sees his father when he's going to get a midnight snack out of the fridge.
Yeah, he shits. He's like, "What the
hell is this?"
Because he has no memory of him.
That's a pretty cool coloring, though. I like. And then he sees it's like it transports him to see visions, and he sees his mom, birth mother, and birth father, his birth parents. I guess it would have saved time if I'd said that. And yet, then he sees Krypton, and we see another ad, laser tag. They must have been.
I went into this reading this series with just the layman's knowledge of Superman, drawing on just what kids talk about, and obviously Superman the movie, where he doesn't learn about who he is until he goes to the Fortress of Solitude, and then all of a sudden his dad pops up and he's talking to him, But in this miniseries, it's in the kitchen while he's getting a midnight snack.
Yeah, and he runs outside, and then Lana finds him outside, and he thought he said, "Lana, I thought you left years ago," but we find out that Lana knows his secret. That he told her years before. And look, there's another ad for Wonder Woman. All right, and we got a Saturday morning cartoons ad. I know that has nothing to do with this, but anyway,
it's memory lane.
She kind of goes off on him, by the way. She says, because he's like, you took me back home. You said A long goodbye to me, to Smallville. You kissed me like a brother kissing his sister, and you were gone. Gone from the front porch of my aunt's house, gone from Smallville, gone from my life, and everything good was gone with you. And apparently Clark Kent's a dunce because he's like, I still don't understand.
At this point, he's still doesn't have experience with women. So
yeah, apparently.
Yeah, he's still a Boy Scout.
Still a Boy Scout.
So he goes and gets the looks at the where his ship was at. His dad shows up and sees like, oh, he thinks he's getting hurt by this thing. He thinks it's like some kind of ghost or something. And it comes to find out it's his dad, and he's like, he don't really get no sense. He kind of hits him and it disappears. But anyway, he flies off, says he has to think. And then he flies around the globe here. And he does he show up at the Fortress of Solitude? Is this where he goes to that? He ends up in the snow. And at the end of it, the last thing he says is it was Krypton that made me Superman, but it is the Earth that makes me human.
Yeah. Oh, it sounds like a movie we just saw.
Yeah, it sounds like a movie we just saw. I believe James Gunn grew up reading this story because.
I mean, and it's another poster-worthy piece of art.
Yeah, that's nice. That would make a great poster, by the way.
Yeah, that's great.
I had a lot of fun reading this.
You know, that's the way I remember him as a kid, right there.
Yep.
I know.
It inspired me to do my own little copycat. I still got to work on finishing it, but
nice. For anybody interested, Bizarro first appears in Superboy 68 as a boy because they use a duplication ray on Superboy, and they call him creates Bizarro, and Bizarro is shunned by the citizens of Smallville and befriends a blind girl.
Interesting.
And
so they had the blind girl in this movie. So John Byrne was taking that from the original. Okay.
So
John Byrne is playing games.
A lot of games. That was in 1958, I believe. Superboy, they end up destroying Bizarro, and with destruction of Bizarro, the blind girl suddenly begins to see again.
Nice.
Games, Byrne.
Yes.
Games. And if you're interested in his adult appearances, Action Comics 254.
There you go.
I bet those aren't cheap.
If you got the money, go get it. I don't know. I did get I got the first appearance of the Fortress of Solitude get ready to show up there any day now. But another thing that I heard about this backstory about this when Dick Giordano and Marv Wolfman approached him to Byrne to jump ship. He was leaving Marvel and he was going to jump ship and go to DC. They promised him that he would have like basically complete control over Superman because this was the beginning of the groundwork of redoing the origin. But they also had a volume 2 in mind coming out, and I got a copy of that. I'll show you. This is number 1 of the ongoing series. Superman one they reintroduced Metallo. And what happened was, though, they started tinkering with what he wanted to do, right? They told him he would have complete control. So after, I can't remember, Bruce, would you look up and see what issue did he jump from Superman Volume 2? Because I know he left because he was frustrated, or he quit writing it because he was frustrated with them always going, no, you can't do this. It's kind of the same thing at Marvel with Amazing Spider-Man. They want to micromanage every single thing about that.
Wow, it's their characters.
1987.
Uh, 1988, a year later, 2 years later.
Yeah, okay. So he became kind of like disillusioned by it, I think. And but I do like I did like what he did with the Superman. They brought back Metallo, who's a pretty cool character. I would say he's probably one of Superman's toughest opponents because he's got the kryptonite running his body. But anyway, that's a story for another day. So guys, what are your? I'll start with Bruce, and I'll do it last. What is your overall opinion of this miniseries, Bruce?
It was a really good series. It holds up. I wanted more. Maybe if they would have stretched it out to 12 issues. But overall, it was a good story.
I agree.
And Byrne left Superman issue 22, and also he had Superman kill someone.
Oh,
and that, right before he left, he walked out and left DC with some controversy. Screw you, DC.
Back to Marvel. All right, Jeff. What is your overall opinion of this? Okay, this story. Are you not done? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was done. Go ahead.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I'm kind of jumping deeper into DC since I've met you fellers, and it was a fun read for me because my only reference was, like I said earlier, a layman's reference of Superman and watching the movie. So this was the first Superman complete run of any Superman story that I've ever read, and I was a kid again, and the way this story went, yeah, there was a little bit of cheesiness, like the girl having her blindness cured by the dust of dead Bizarro or whatever he's called. But I thought it was great, and I love the art and the colors. That's the Superman I remember. That's the Superman I know. And the way he behaves is the Superman I remember as a kid. So to me, it's nostalgic. Probably going to get my brain twisted by Crisis on Infinite Earths, but I'll try and hold on for the ride.
Well, actually, you're reading it at a good time because this was right here was like when they were doing a reboot of the whole DC universe. So it's kind of a good one to read after this. It's got like this one's kind of a palate cleanser for what you're getting ready to read.
Okay. Good.
It's a very intricate story, is all I'm going to say, but it's a very good story. But the greatest thing about it is the artwork by George Perez.
Yeah, George Perez is
but there's nothing wrong with that because George Perez is one of my favorite. He's one of the greatest artists of all time. I don't care what anybody says. Of course, John Byrne was no slouch either. Because think about it, John Byrne worked on Uncanny X-Men, She-Hulk, Wolverine, Superman, this series, and that's just the count. He created North Star. If I'm correct, if I'm wrong, right? Yeah.
I wonder what when he left Marvel. When he left Marvel, what was he drawing? What was he on? Do we remember? Anyone know?
X-Men, Alpha Flight,
X-Men, She-Hulk, X-Men, and Alpha Flight. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew he did. Alpha
and he had
Flight
been on
too.
X-Men, but that was years earlier. Like he did his work. He did work on this run from like 1980 up a little bit. He was on that part of the X-Men run. During he drew a lot of the Hellfire Club stuff that happened and all that. And the Dark Phoenix, I think. Did he have something to do with that? The Dark Phoenix saga? I think he did a little drawing for that. But he was there for when Kitty Pryde joined the X-Men, when she showed up at the mansion and all that stuff too. That was an excuse just to show off my new slab. Sorry. Anyway, my overview is this: like I have fond memories of this series. I remember reading the whole thing when I was a kid, and I'd always been a Superman fan. I remember Sorry, I've been struggling with allergies all day. The Richard Donner movies, and then I said, "Oh, so this is Superman." And I was like, "Okay." So I kind of was able to pick up I knew what was going on. You know, it's kind of a nice broad overview of Superman.
Yeah.
Of how he became Superman. This is not like the best. Is it the best Superman story I've ever read? No, probably not. But I don't know. Actually, it is. But yeah, I'm going to say it is. It's probably as far as it's a good start. Okay. But other recommendations I have for everybody out there, if you've not read a lot of Superman, is first and foremost is All-Star Superman by Grant Morrison and Frank Whiteley, which is just amazing from start to finish. Also, this may be not on everybody's radar, but Superman Unchained from the New 52 run is pretty cool. And then there's another one called Superman for All Seasons. They kind of go over a little bit of the same ground that John Byrne treaded here. And also, if you want to go back and read, like what we talked about earlier, Alan Moore's issues of Superman, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, which is really great.
Yeah, I want to check that out for sure.
And the what issue is it, Bruce, from Action Comics with the Black Mercy thing? Remember where Mongol comes down and he puts that Black Mercy flower on Superman, and he has this flashback that he's like grew up on Krypton. It's a really good story too. I would check that out. What do you everything? Yeah.
Don't forget, you gotta read Superman Birthright. We're in from 2006, 2003. It was written by Mark Waid. It was a new origin story. It became the canon origin story of Superman. But you know, since then you've had New 52. You had Rebirth. So,
and Superman what?
Birthright.
Okay, Birthright.
Yeah, it's a 12-issue limited series by Mark Waid.
Up and Away is pretty cool too. I think it's like was it like a Walmart like exclusive like book or something? It was like Up in the Sky or something like that, or Up and Away. One of those books was. But anyway, I enjoy it. I recommend it if you've not read it and you're a Superman, or if you're not even a Superman fan and you want to be a Superman fan, would you guys agree this is a good starting point?
I would. I'd say absolutely 10 out of 10 for me.
Yep.
You got the John Byrne, and also, you know, John Byrne did the writing and the artwork on this book. So they had like full control. That's the only thing he didn't do. I think Dick Giordano did the inking. That's it. So, I don't know. Let me see who did the coloring. Does it say who did the coloring? Tom Zucco. Tom Zucco was the colorist.
But that period,
I think I really like what the colorist did here. Yeah, I think the color.
The mid to mid. Well, just the whole decade of the 80s, the color palette of comic books.
Yeah.
That's what's nostalgic to me. So flipping through the pages of Man of Steel, I got to be a kid again. Because I'll never open a comic book today that looks like that. You know, not with the tools that comic books have now.
And I will say, even though it was the mid 80s, John Byrne's Lois Lane is hot. Right, I said it. There I said it. Right.
In her pink dress.
All you need to know is this. Here's what I mean by that. When I say John Byrne's Lois Lane was hot, even with the 80s hairdo.
And her power shoulders.
Yeah.
Power shoulders.
And her.
She could have been any character on Dynasty back then.
Yeah. Smacking each other. I look how they always smack Alexis and all of them always smacking the hell out of each other. And a Crest was kind of like that too. Well, guys, thanks for I appreciate you guys doing this with me. I'm probably going to release this video tomorrow. The day's Saturday, so we'll probably release it in the morning. But I guess that's it for this show. And I'm not going to plug it. I'm not going to promote anything because, well, I don't know if it's coming out. I'm sure it's coming tomorrow, but it don't matter. Anyway, guys, I'd like to on behalf of Bruce and Jeff, I'd like to thank you for watching. Please hit the like button. If you're not subscribed, what are you waiting for? Subscribe to all of us. Adamantium Blade Comic Collectibles, Kingdom of Nerds, Heroes for Hire Comic Club. All right, give us a thumbs up on the way out. But as Uncle Stan always says, or he always used to say, until next time, true believers, Excelsior.
Come, son of Jarrell! Kneel before Zod! Snoochie boochies.